For life scheduling purposes, the week of roast demands is postponed till next week. So the worst of the year list is the proudest I've been of something I've put out in pretty much that whole time frame, and it made me realize something about myself. I'm only happy when I'm angry. When I'm happy with a figure, sure, I'm glad that the money I spent went to good use. Sure, I have more fun playing with it. Sure, I like the way it looks on my shelf. But I also don't feel the fiery burning passion in my lungs to go to the mountaintop and start preaching. I don't feel the divine inspiration coaxing me into eloquent analogies, all to bring a figure low and facilitate its deepest desolation. Without my rage, I have no insanity. Without my insanity, I have no comedy. There are still videos that I think are important to do with a nuanced approach, but I've been trying to be nice for too long. Let's get mean again. I'm sure many of you are like, holy shit, that was him being nice? But first, your likes! Please give. And if you enjoyed this video by the end and you aren't subscribed already, please consider it. It's Legacy Legends Rocklord #1. I guess it's supposed to be called Bouldercrash, a figure whose name I will forget the moment this video is over. And this thing is so damn weird. It's just a weird little turd of a thing. It's not that it's bad, it's just, it looks like shit. Like, literally, it looks like bloody ass nugs. But from concept alone, I wonder what the creators were on, because being like, let's do the Rocklords, but not do the Rocklords, have them be their own thing that does transform, but isn't a transformer and aren't on either faction, is the kind of thing that you can only think of if you are A, high like you just found a marketing exec's coke stash, or B, are a marketing exec, and despite now owning the property, you don't want to advertise a competitor's IP from 40 years ago. Considering how stupid and evil Hasbro's executive board seems to be, I'll let you guess which one it is. Either way, it got us this commendably daft idea, so I'm actually not complaining. But that doesn't make this little guy any less strange. Or frustrating. For starters, just push the back wheel all the way down. It feels like you're gonna break it, but mine didn't, and this guy is back heavy enough already without this sticking out all that extra distance. So do this, or give up all hope that he can stand. Also, it just looks better. Well, as better as this can look, because for some reason, despite this guy being sculpted like rock and that costing no more money per unit produced, they didn't bother sculpting any of the internal parts. So you know these deep gaps here that could have looked fine? They don't, because, fuck you. I legitimately don't see a reason as to why you wouldn't just keep up with the rock detailing. And the guy who looks like poo-poo seems to be dropping a log. There had to be a better way to handle this. Like you couldn't just have had the feet peg into each other, you know, like every other figure ever? What possessed you to look at the normal thing to do that uses less plastic and is not violently likely to get in your way and decide that you were too good for it? I appreciate what they've done with the paint, trying to make it look like cracked lava, but I do think that they could have gone a bit further. The red has no fire, it has no glow. They could have gone down the centers of these streaks with some yellow, and that would have helped sell the illusion of molten rock. And I know I've been very harsh so far, but I do think this dude looks cool and fun and silly. But there are some painfully bad choices that seem to have been done so the designer could be a super special butterfly. But instead of coming up with the next big innovation, he reinvented the wheel to be square and made of stone. Head rocks, pun intended. You know me, I love a faceplate and I love a visor, so the combo looking like a little shit gremlin soundwave puts me in a good enough mood to almost forgive this figure's many sins. Almost. Bro may not have a faction, but he looks evil as hell. Face gives me, I'm gonna shank you for your wallet from behind vibes. And overall, I actually think that this guy looks pretty cool. He's got a consistent aesthetic, he hides some of his kibble pretty well, like I even forgot that he has wheels on his feet, they're so low profile. It is working as intended, but he is hitting some speed bumps and potholes along the way. Which kind of makes sense for a guy made out of rocks. And I can't help but love his absurd little asshole energy. Bro would be best friends with Rumble and Frenzy. He's got one accessory. It's this giant lance thing. It kind of looks like it maybe fires energy blasts, but they didn't put a port on it because they're fools. Unless you want it to be a hovering autonomous stabbing drone, and well, that's kind of awesome. He's supposed to be able to hold it like a sword if you do this, and that just doesn't work. Why would you not put a downward facing peg on this if you wanted us to do it? I guess it has more paint than normal, though it is an integral part of the alt mode. Posability on this is just so damn weird. Head has more side to side and down than normal, an awkward full rotation, and a rotation at the baby bib beneath that. Shoulders pull massively less than a 90, backwards butterflies, slightly more than 90 elbows, no wrists, legs are unimpeded forward, slightly back, and they fight you out to the side in a weird way, normal 90 knees, and no feet. Some of this is really good, some of this is really bad, and much of it is very abnormal. It's pretty good for a Legends, but the shoulders once again have no reason not to be better. All you had to do was make the cutouts in the tops of the shoulders a little longer and they'd be fine. Transformation is kind of fun. It's really basic, though it is doing most things differently just for the sake of it, like how the legs plug into the 2x4 hanging off of his ass, as well as the way that you flip the baby bib up to cover his face even though it's not meant to hide his face. Also, have I pointed out yet that despite there being no reason that this weird little asshole has to be a mandatory parts former, he's a mandatory parts former. I mean, maybe they were like, well, leaving the parts forming piece on would look awful and absolutely unbalance the figure even more, so we don't need to bother with making it so the front of the motorcycle just hinges up. Oh, but motherfucker, I disagree. You ever watch one of those intentionally unsatisfying videos? This is what that's like in transformation form, and there is no just reason to inflict this upon us. The only thing preventing you from leaving this on and hinging it down as normal is the peg that he holds it by in robot mode that we already established is in the wrong place. And why are the tabs for this asymmetrical? It feels like you were trying to limit my options for how to store this in robot mode. Oh, you bastards, that's absolutely what you were doing. It's the only explanation. But why would you do that? And he turns into a tricycle made out of rock that no one can ride. Though based on the fact that he has shocks, it makes me think that this is actually a Power Rangers motorcycle that was left out to rust. Behold, the Tetanus Ranger and his Shankmobile, the Unicorn Tricycle, or Unicycle for short. I don't know that I would describe this mode as cohesive. Fun, weird, the bloody poop of a small animal, these are all terms that I would use to sum up this figure, but cohesive, not so much. It is remarkable that they did not realize what they were doing with these colors and this shape. And even if it didn't look like a primo dookie, then it looks like a bike that was lost in a landslide at best, or a motorcycle that was pulled out of the Atlantis Highway Patrol garage. And look at those wheels. These do not inspire confidence in how well this thing rides. This does not dookie-doo. It goes squeaky, 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 squeaky. As an alt mode, it's not the most convincing, it's not the most compelling. It's a weird pile of rocks that kind of looks like excrement, and I can see why that's not for everyone. But I'm having fun. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this, honestly. Sure, I talked a lot of crap. I just cannot get away from the feces with this video. But that was all for entertainment purposes. I stand by everything that I said, however, I do think that this is pretty fun. And as a $10 toy, I don't think it was a waste. It is, however, by far stranger than any of the fossilizers ever were. At least in Beast Wars, they scanned dino bones. This here has never been a thing in the Transformers, and it was a dumb idea when the GoBots did it, even if the toys were very pleasingly shiny. The execution is flawed, but I will gladly take flawed execution on this completely new, utterly deranged idea, then I will take it on stuff like Kingdom Pipes. It's weird, but you will probably like it. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.